Yo, what is going on, guys? It's the Rose here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make this abstract header right here. Now, this can be done with any game, not just Valorant. It can be done Fortnite, League of Legends, like literally anything you want. Basically, the purpose of this tutorial is just to show you guys how to make, these abstract shapes, as well as make them look good, as well as, the text effect that I'm doing here. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go to new, and you're going to want to make a new document that is 1500 by 500 pixels. Now make sure that it is on transparent, RGB background, 8-bit, whatever you want, but then press create. Okay, so once you have your empty background right here, you're going to want to set a background color. Now, some people don't do this first, but this is what I like to do first in my sort of headers. So for this one, I'm going to be trying replicating around the same style. So if we look back, we see that the background is pretty dark. So it was sort of like a dark blue. That's what we're going to go for right here. Something along these lines, I think. Now you're going to want to select your layer and fill it with that color. Now it's a bit more gray, so we're going to go more like that. There we go. That actually looks very good. And then from here, what I'd like to do is get a solid background. So I do have a Photoshop pack that has a lot of these backgrounds in it, but unfortunately I cannot give it to you because I did buy it, and I wouldn't want to do the seller like that. You can just go on the internet and search up Valorant or whatever game you're doing, and that's all you need to do. Let's go with Rays. So basically we can just take Rays right here and drag her in. Now if we do look here, this is like Sage sort of theme. Like Sage is pretty blue because she heals. So the new map Icebox just came out, so I'm gonna find the Icebox background, so we can just paste that in there. Now it is pretty large, so we are able to downscale it, but not by that much actually. And then we can make a clipping mask, then set this to, I would say, probably soft light, and then turn this down a bit. Not too much though. Make sure it's still a bit visible. I'm going to lower the opacity around there. It's just, you can barely see it, but we got to make sure that there is some sort of texture to the background. So I'm going to take this glitch sort of stock here. I'm going to size it down a lot. And there we go. We can just put it like that. It basically just helps give us a little more, I'd say, flair. So then what I'm going to do, this is just purely optional. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to make 2 copies of it by pressing Control or Command J, setting the first color to blue here, and then move it over just a little bit like that, and then making this red, putting it behind, moving it a bit like that, but we are going to lower the opacity a bit. There we go. Now it's sort of glitchy, and we can group all of this. That's sort of our background glitch effect. Now for our abstract shape, take the pen tool, create a new layer, separate it from the background or from this group, and basically just make some cool shapes. Preferably you should be able to hold shift the entire time because it just makes it a lot more pleasing. But I mean, it's not technically a requirement, so go wild. Okay, so I just got a basic shape right here. And then what I'm going to do is replicate it, but I extended it a bit. You can even overlap them, but I don't suggest it. And there you go. Now what I did is I then took both of these, and I'm going to replicate them both, rotate them over, and put them in this corner, sort of adjacent to the other one. Then what I'm going to do for the final touch is just get this half circle going, sort of like this. Make sure that the shapes are behind your character. And then what we're going to do now is we got to find these. So I'm gonna make those into one by pressing Control E, then make those into one, and then you can leave these how they are. But then you're gonna rasterize them by just right clicking, press rasterize. Oh, those are already rasterized. And then you're gonna press G. If it's on Paint Bucket, switch it to Gradient Tool. Press I, find two colors of rays. So I'm going to go with that one, switch, and then I'm going to go with that one. Now we can go back to our Gradient Tool. So it's going to be that one. Then we're going to make a clipping mask. And then we have to make a new gradient with the colors. So the reason that we did it over here is because we can actually go here and select the first color. We'll make this a bit smaller. Then we can go here and select this color. Press OK. And then with our new gradient, we can go like that. Now that I'm looking at it, there's a bit of gray in here, so I'm actually going to make it a bit lighter as well. More vibrant. Vibrancy is always good. Like that. And then let's try again. That looks way better. I want the gradient to be about, that's too much blue. There we go, that looks perfect. And then we're gonna do the same thing, make a layer, clipping mask. I'm actually gonna go the opposite way. That looks pretty good. There we go. And finally, do the same for here. Okay, so now that we got those, the last thing that I did, well, not the last thing, but one of the things that I did was make a white outline. So we're going to do that, and to do that, all we really have to do, I'm going to make the gradients one with the stalks here, is I'm going to make a cutout basically of them. Make a new layer, do that. And then what you can do from here is stroke, make it white. I guess you could go center, doesn't really matter, like that. And just sort of move it like that, but then fill all the way down. Now actually then what I did was I move it down a bit like that, make sure it's still horizontally lined up so you get the same amount of up and down. So like here it's 32 and 29, so try and make it 32 like that. And then I'll add one more just for good measure, I guess. Okay, so we're basically gonna do the same thing. I'll repeat it one more time. So make a new layer. What you can actually do is select it like that, pressing Control and then clicking the thumbnail like that. Create a new layer, select that, fill all the way down, stroke, and then take the stroke, okay, we can actually just copy it all, do it like that, and then line it up so it doesn't end up showing like that. And there you go. Now all that's left is the text, so you know, add whatever text you want. Okay, so all caps Thrills, and then the font that I used was Azonix, which I don't know if it's even on here anymore, so I might have to re-download it. I will leave a link to Azonix in the description. It's a really good font for, you know, anything futuristic. Select all of it, make it white, just like that. Now what we want to do is we want to actually put this behind the character model, and then from there what we can do is make a new layer, then make a stroke and make the stroke gradient. We actually have this gradient tool still here, so we're going to make a new gradient like that, then go back to our text with the stroke here, go down, find the gradient. Actually, we're going to want this in the center and make it decent enough where you could see it, but it's still good. Just like that. Now we want to put this in front of the full body and then lower that so you could still see it. and like that. There we go. So this has been the header, and now what you want to do, file, export, PNG, then name it whatever you want. Save it to your file, and then you can, send it to a friend or make it for yourself or whatever you want to do with it. So that has been the video for today. If you guys enjoyed it, leave a like. If you want to see more of what I do, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.